6 months later, I was leaving my job. And that was just like, people take like 5 years to manifest something like that.
Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Ladies, so we are in day 4 of the summit. I am so excited for all the interviews. I mean, of course, I love Kiki and all the women, but I am just so excited to talk everything manifestation with the lovely Kiki. She is a transformation coach and digital nomad, and I just love her all so much. So if you wouldn't just introduce yourself, like tell us a little bit more about you, and then we'll get right into all the questions.
Awesome. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Second, thank you for putting this entire thing together. I know that you have put so much work and effort into it. So it's an honor to be here and to be speaking to all of you lovely women. My name is Kiki Yura. I am the founder of the Namaste Babe brand and the Namaste Babe podcast. And I have been an entrepreneur for 4 years, but I have been an entrepreneur of my own business for the past 2. Was that? Maybe I will close that. There we go. And sorry. And I started my journey in entrepreneurship and network marketing and ended up leaving my full-time job to pursue my second network marketing business, which 5 months after leaving my full-time job, shut its doors overnight. And I was just in the process of kind of starting my one-to-one coaching business. And so it was a very come hell or high water moment where I had to just like in that moment decide, okay, this is the universe moving mountains for me, and this is what I'm meant to be doing. So Namaste Babe was born, and I have been doing that ever since, pretty much just running my business from anywhere with a Wi-Fi signal and trying to live my best life traveling while running this business. That's the Coles Notes version of it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I know you were traveling during COVID and you had to like come back. So I know that was a huge journey in itself to come back because you were across seas, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So the world just kind of started shutting down around me. I had been traveling. I started in South America in Colombia, and then I ended up working my way up through Central America in Panama, Costa Rica, and I kind of settled. I settled in Nicaragua for the majority of that time. And slowly as COVID started making its way to North America, I just started getting inundated with messages. And in human design, I am a manifesting generator. So no one can tell me what to do. I have to do things on my own volition and my own free will. Finally, I said, you know what? Okay, it's getting serious. And, Justin Trudeau is telling everyone to come home. So I booked a flight and I came back and I was living with my parents. And then I took off I said, you know what, if I'm going to be stuck in Canada, I would rather go to the West Coast and enjoy the beauty of the mountains. So I was there for 4.5 months. I literally just got back to the east side of Canada, like last week, not even a full week ago.
Yeah, because I remember like first started following you were like in Toronto, and I'm like, ooh, cool. Like she's on the east coast of Canada. Because for those of you who don't know, I'm in Alberta, Canada as well. And some of the east coast don't really like us here in Alberta, but
I have no qualms with you.
But I love that you're Canadian as well, because yay. So talking all the things, confidence, I would love for you to share.
Sorry, you froze there. Say that again.
Oh, my internet is stable. Great. Do you believe it's important for women to build their confidence?
I am so happy that this is one of the questions, because I literally was having shower thoughts the other day, and this is eventually going to get put into a post of mine. But I so believe that it is important because from the age of being marketed to, we are taught to not be ourselves. We are taught to not there is an industry that profits off of our insecurity. And one of my favorite quotes, and I literally pulled it up earlier today, is, in a society that profits off of your insecurity and your self-doubt, loving yourself is a rebellious act. And I just find that to be so powerful. It's one of my favorite, I think it's a woman specifically, it's a woman's right to be confident, to be empowered.
I love that so much. And I love that you touched on the fact that society like profits off of women's insecurities and them wanting to, lose weight and change the way that they look. Because I remember as, a young little girl going to like the grocery store with my mom and seeing all these magazines, and it's like, oh, well, how to lose 15 pounds like next week. And it's like, okay, well, is that actually a good thing? Is that something we should be wanting? And when
yeah.
So and they want to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just, sorry, I think there's like a little bit of a lag, but I was just going to say, like, I remember at the age of 7, and my mom still talks about this from time to time. I had a friend who came over for dinner one night after school, and my mom said, oh, here, I've made whatever it was. I mean, something that like kids would eat. And she goes, oh, I can't eat that. I'm on a diet. At the age of 7. And she was stick thin. Like she was, she was a child, but she was like stick thin. And it was her idea, whatever she had been inundated with was that she didn't believe that she could eat something at the age of 7 because it would make her fat.
That is, oh, I haven't heard anything like that in a long time. I mean, that makes me so sad to hear that someone as young as 7 was like, no, I'm on a diet. And it's like, well, wait, what? Where did you get that idea? You should be on a diet, first of all.
But even then, it's like her body was not of the no child should think that they need to be on a diet at the age of 7, first and foremost. Like, let's lay that down. But I don't know where that fear stemmed from, because she was not someone who looked like she needed to be on a diet, right? Like, it was just mind boggling. And my mom still, like I mentioned, my mom still talks about that to this day, because she was just so flabbergasted that that's what came out of that child's mouth.
Well, I hope we are in a new generation of like women like you and myself that are encouraging women and their forthcoming generations to love their body, no matter what size, no matter how much they weigh, and all this garbage. Because seriously, like, you can be beautiful at any size as long as you're healthy. Like, that's what's important, is to be healthy.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's not this was what I was literally typing out in this post, is that who decided that that is the standard of beauty, that like the waif, stick thin, chest bones showing through, like that is what beauty is. Like, that is not every body, right? That's not depicted. And that's the only body type up until recently that has been depicted. And it's like, a bunch of male ad executives decades ago, smoking cigars and drinking bourbon, decided that that was what beauty was going to be. And nothing has changed in literally 40, 50 years until now. It's deplorable.
It is. And I mean, just an example from like back in those times, Marilyn Monroe was technically plus sized. And like,
I am Marilyn. I literally look at this woman and I'm like, that's me. That's me. Like, why do I not see that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And like, I just look back and I'm like, that's plus size. Like she looks like a normal person. And
Right.
I don't think of myself as like being heavy or skinny. I just think I'm a normal body. But like everybody is beautiful. Doesn't matter if they're skinny, if they're big, if they're whatever. And I think there just needs to be more like love for women's bodies out there in the world.
But that's the problem, is that it's not women who are running the idea of what beauty is. And that is exactly what is wrong with it. Men in, you know, corporations, in beauty industries, are making trillions of dollars a year in profit off of our insecurity through makeup, through clothing, through diet pills and wraps and whatever the other fads are, right? Shakes and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, you're never going to hate yourself into the perfect body. You're never going to hate yourself into a healthy body. You're never going to hate yourself into loving yourself.
Of course. And I mean, like I wrote an ebook, like Become a Body Confidence Queen. And that was part of my recovery from my eating disorder. But I talk about exactly that in my ebook. It's like, you can't hate your body to then love it. Like you need to love where you're at.
Exactly.
And just build your confidence.
Yeah.
So Kiki, what is the most confident thing that you have ever done?
There's so many. I'm trying to think in like terms of a bot. Do you want to know what's really funny? This will be the most confident thing I ever do. I took a photo of myself naked in the mirror yesterday. And I am like really debating how I'm going to post it on social media. I think that will be the most confident thing I've ever done. But up until this point, because this photo is going to go with the rest of the quote. So I'm trying to figure out how to tastefully post it on social media so it doesn't get reported. But aside from that, I think, God, the most confident thing, the very first thing that comes to mind was me leaving my full-time job and pursuing my passions. I'm pretty sure that was like most recently the most confident thing I've ever done. Solo travel is also a very confident thing to do. It's scary, but it takes a lot of confidence to do it.
Yes, I love that you just kind of like put three of them together, because some of the other women, they're like, I can't just pick one. Can I pick more than one? I'm like, of course you can. So I love that you picked three.
There's like body, there's different layers of confidence in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, one of the other ladies, she was like, oh, well, like one of the most confident things I ever did was like become a mom. And then she's like, my other example was like going skydiving. And I'm like, yeah, like two completely different examples. And like you said, like different layers of confidence, like they're on different levels.
Yeah.
So
like I also show up on social media all the time without makeup. I mean, for myself, I don't find that to be a confident thing, but I know a lot of people do. So I would like to say that that's also confident.
Yeah. And I mean, it's going to differ between every woman. I mean, sometimes I like to wear makeup and sometimes I'm like, fuck it. I just don't feel like it. And I can feel confident with or without makeup, but it's totally up to every woman's interpretation on what confidence looks to them. And that's why I love all the women, including yourself, in the summit, because you guys have all these different experiences and views on what confidence is to you, because each of you is unique. And I just love you all so much.
Oh, we love you too.
Okay, so let's get into all the manifestation awesomeness. So when was a time that you manifested something big and it became a reality for you?
So again, going back to this idea of leaving my full-time job, I remember at the beginning of 2018, I knew I had been in network marketing for a year and a half at that point. In January of 2018, it was like a year and a half. And I knew I had this passion in me to like live freely and to be able to work from anywhere I desired. And at the time, I didn't know that that would be through my own business, but I knew that that was a driving force in my life. And that was in January of 2018. I put location independence on my vision board. And 6 months later, I was leaving my job. And that was just like, people take like 5 years to manifest something like that. And it just came so quickly. And it was 3 months after I hired my first business coach. And I know that that had a lot to do with it too, because without her support, I don't think I would have been able to have the confidence to leave. So
I love that. There's so many different things that people can manifest, but for you to want to like do your own thing and have that as your own is so inspiring, especially for quite a few women that have signed up for the summit and they're like aspiring entrepreneurs as well. Like they want to start their own business and they're like, I'm kind of scared. I want to build the confidence to get there and to do it. And you yourself was at like a corporate job, I believe, and then you manifested to become an entrepreneur. And it's an incredible example for some of the women to watch or to listen to this later on and to see you as a success story. And it's like, yeah, if she can do it, I can do it too.
absolutely. And that's always what I tell people. Like, I really don't, there is nothing about me that is special or different. It was just that I kept going. I've hit roadblocks. I've hit challenges. I've faced adversity, not like major things, right? But I have faced these things, personal, professional, and I've kept going. And that is the secret to success, honestly. Like it is just, you have to show up consistently. And when shit hits the fan, because it will, you got to find a way around it.
Oh, definitely. Because everyone thinks that like this road to success or whatever that looks like to them is just like this linear graph. And it's like, oh no, honey, it'll go like in directions and like backwards and you have no idea.
The squiggle, like it just starts going like this at some points and you do not know you're up from down, you're left from right. But it ends, right? It's seasonal, it's cyclical. Like, with the winter comes the spring and the summer. It's just, you've got to ride it out. And sometimes it literally feels like being on a roller coaster, but then you get to the ups and you're like, yes, like I've done it. I've achieved it, whatever the it is. So just keep going.
Yes. We're so encouraged to like stop what we're doing or to give up when we're faced with failure. And I honestly hate the way that society has done that. And it's like, no, we should celebrate failure because you learn so much from it and you grow as a person so much more than when you succeed at something.
I always tell my clients, I think I've talked about this on the podcast, is that there is no such thing as failure in my eyes. It's feedback. It's, what you need to adjust, to tweak. It's like you said, the celebration of like, okay, great. I found out a way that didn't work. What's the next path? And the only two ways that you can fail like traditionally, is if you have a dream and you let it die within you, if you like never start, and if you give up. Those are the only two ways that you fail.
Yes. Okay. We're reframing failure into feedback. I love it, except when you give up on your dream or you just kind of let it die. But girls, anyone who's listening, ladies, don't do that because you deserve to live out your best life.
1,000%. And the crazy thing is, you don't know how close you are. You are on the brink. At the beginning of this year, my business was not projected to be where it's at right now. Like not even close. I was like full on disclosure of like, do not let yourself fail. I was in Nicaragua and I'm like, do I go back? I know I want to keep coaching, but my finances tell me something else because I invested last year. I invested over $30,000 in my business, money that I did not have. I don't necessarily recommend going that route of like going that far, that far in, because at the beginning of the year, I was like $57,000 in the hole. I do not use the D word. But the thing is that where I was the person of like, I can only see right here. I'm not thinking in the future. And I said, I still want to do my coaching business, but how can I get some other financial support? Do I go back and work out? I used to be an employee of Carnival Cruise Lines. Like that would feel good to me because I could still work and do something that is like remotely enjoyable, but traveling while, taking on 1 or 2 clients. And then COVID hit and that completely kiboshed. That was the universe being like, fuck you, just keep going. I apologize if I'm not allowed to swear, but I think you're you're pretty okay with it.
Swearing is encouraged.
But the universe was literally like smacking me upside the back of the head, being like, girl, what the hell are you thinking? Just keep going. And I did. And I am now at this point where I'm projected to have a 6-figure business. And it's just mind blowing to me that I could have even thought those thoughts back then.